New sweaters for the St. Louis Blues, and I have you covered with all the information that you need to know.
Hey, this is Brandon Chen. Subscribe to Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today on Locked On Blues, I'm going to talk to you about the exciting new sweaters home and away for your 2025-2026 St. Louis Blues. The Blues announced a little bit ago that there was going to be a rebrand, and of course it dropped today, and I am very pleased with what I saw. I do have an initial reaction video that is up on my channel, but this is going to be more details. Let's go say that I have a few surprises. We're also going to talk about the draft because, yes, it is draft week. The draft is a few days away. The Blues have the 19th overall in the first round. That begins Friday night. And then free agency begins soon. Moves are happening around the NHL, folks, okay? While the Blues haven't done anything yet, there are a few things that have been indicated. So we're going to dive all into that. Again, fun episode here today on Locked On Blues. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure to do so. But today, yes, the Blues did reveal their new sweaters. And the St. Louis Blues, as somebody that is media, right, I get things sent to me. So this is a video that the Blues sent to me about them revealing their new sweaters. And yes, Coach Montgomery narrates. Take a look.
In St. Louis, we don't do anything nice and easy. So if past is prelude, consider this the remix. Today's Tom Sawyer isn't painting fences. He's painting the boards. We're respecting the classics, but changing the game. We're respecting the past, but trumpeting our future. We're holding the note, but playing it louder. Because what goes around, comes around. The same rock, new roll. Same river, new flow. Same blood, new sweaters. Same blues, new note. Same as it never was. Where classic meets new heritage. Forever classic. Because if past is prelude, consider this the remix. Remixed, remastered, reborn. The St. Louis Blues.
That was an awesome video, and it got me really excited for the start of the season. I mean, I love Coach Montgomery, so for me, this just amped me up. But I did tell you I had a few surprises, so let me go bring myself to the corner because I also have some high-definition photos, again, courtesy of the St. Louis Blues. Of course, we have our lovely model, Colton Parayko, modeling. This is the away sweater. I like this one a lot. And while I'm showing you pictures, I'm also going to give you some facts as well. So the Blues unveiled their new primary home and away uniforms featuring modernized version of the team's heritage color palette and iconic Blue Note logo as part of the overall brand evolution announced today. This was inspired by the classic uniforms worn by the Blues up upon their inception in 1967. The fan favorite Blues brand identity and logo have been with this team for a while, and they're going to be with this new era as well. The club also introduced new design elements, including word marks, brand font, and secondary and territory marks, highlighting the shared cultural influences of St. Louis and the Blues. And this brand evolution, by the way, I have to tell you, when I saw this, my heart kind of just smiled because the new primary uniforms were inspired by the Winter Classic jerseys. And I have to tell you that these are beautiful. So again, that's the way I'm going to switch to home. Now, I have some people that are saying that they want more things to be outlined, but I actually really like this look, right? Anyways, it goes on. The Heritage jersey reflects the rich, compelling history of the St. Louis Blues, and It is one of the most classic jerseys in the National Hockey League. And that was said by Tom Stillman, who is the Blues' chairman. The response of Blues fans to this jersey has been overwhelming, and we're pleased to share the updated versions with our supporters everywhere. So for me personally, looking at these, I'm going to do a comparison here, okay? So you can see. I think that this is classic, it's new, and it's exciting, and it's slick and clean. And one of the main takeaways that I had is that they wanted the home jersey, so that's the blue on blue that you're seeing to the left, to stand out because there's so many teams, right, that have blue in their colors. And evidently, we're called the Blues. So again, you want to be able to have your sweater stand out. So that's why I really like that as well. So at least for me, this is them returning to their roots. Again, it was inspired from the beloved Heritage kits for their new full-time and away jerseys. The jerseys are similar to the versions the Blues won in the home 2017 Winter Classic and away 2020-22. When I said Winter Classic, I wasn't referring to this past one, by the way. Like those ones I did not like. Anyways, with the most noteworthy difference being the new away jersey featuring white rather than cream. Key updates also include one color numbers for clear legibility and a new interlocking STL logo displayed on the pant leg. The current royal blue home jerseys will transition to the official third jersey status moving forward. So if you look on the pant leg, if you look on the left side, that's where you see the STL. It reminds me a little bit of the Cardinals, right? And I love that. But I mean, analyzing this, I just really like it. And I like that the Blues' home one for this past season is going to be the third. I just think that this is such a good look. People said to me, which one are you going to buy? I like the away one better. I love the white, but I also like the blue. But for me, like that white, it just has the blue note stand out a little bit more. So that to me is why I like that a lot. So I'm going to show you more pictures. And then again, this is what I am living for. I'm so excited about this. And I love that Colton Parayko was able to model in it. So the Blues are officially returning to their original palette for their primary colors, the classic blue and yellow, which was first worn in, of course, 1967. Yes, that was our first year, but changed slightly to improve the color consistency between different fabrics on the uniform. While royal blue has served as the team's primary color since 1984, we have brought back this bolder, more vibrant look to energize the brand while honoring our history. And I love that. It's funny when you look back at and again, I was born in 1999, so all I've known is the modern note, right? But when I'm looking back at sweaters of the past, I'm obsessed with, the modern, the old, I guess modern, right? Is that what you call it? The original look, if that's the word, right? Anyways, the modern, this is the most important, the blue note. We love the blue note here. The modernized version of the iconic blue note includes a move from 3 colors to 2. Beige was removed from the previous heritage style note. Thicker blue and yellow key lines, and a slight reshaping of the note. So again, I love this so much. Again, I think that this is such a sleek look. As I'm now showing you the home sweater again, I mean, the blue note looks fantastic. Again, I love the STL on the pant leg. The color is perfection. This is honestly such a win for the Blues, right? Anyways, fans honestly have been very bold, right? With showing how much they love the 2017 Winter Classic jerseys. And it's been a top pick, right? So I feel like the Blues actually did listen to the fans on the jerseys and reciprocated. And again, the St. Louis Blues Hockey Club was born and bred in St. Louis, a city known for its resilience and passion. Now fans can proudly showcase their Blues and St. Louis pride with new territory marks that celebrate the unbreakable bond. So again, so much with that. Word marks as well, which I'm going to show you here. So again, we have word mark. So this is the primary one. It's hard to describe. And then we have the illustrative word mark. I love both of them. I am obsessed. Like, this is awesome. I'm like, spend all of your money, Haley. And then again, just to give you a little bit of an example, I couldn't download too many things of the territory marks. This is the river music. The iconic gateway arch reflecting in the mighty Mississippi come together to form a trumpet that plays tribute to the historic music scene of downtown St. Louis. So for me, I have to give this an automatic win. This was awesome. The organization did such a great job with honestly everything. I feel like the Blues needed this. You know, we have a new coach in Jimmy Montgomery now, and it's about time that reflects, right? I mean, this isn't the same St. Louis Blues team that won the cup, right? This is a different team. While, yes, there's some of the same players, at the end of the day, this gives this team a new identity in a sense. And it's time to kind of turn a chapter. And I love that we're going back to our roots. I mean, I said all along when we were talking about what we wanted, and I can go on my Twitter at Locked On Blues right now, because I was a little bit apprehensive about the rebrand and the change, if I'm being completely honest with you, because I didn't want it to be ugly. However, I said, please be the heritage note, because I loved the color scheme, right? And I love it. Like, I really do. And the reaction from a lot of you is that you like it as well. Some people said, you know, we'll agree to disagree. We have some people that say, you know, I can't decide whether I'm getting a home or away. They're both sweet. As I stated, I like the away a lot better. Chris said, I really like them, but I wish they had a border around the numbers and the captain's letters. And while I'm understanding of that, as I show you in a way, picture of Colton Parayko, I kind of like that there's no border on it. I don't know. Like, maybe it's just me, but it just feels so sleek. And I think maybe having a border, while I understand for the home sweaters, I just feel like for the away, it's perfect. For a home, I can understand why you might say that. And again, we have a couple other people saying, we don't really like it, right? So then I said on Twitter, because I can't, for whatever reason, do a Twitter poll with pictures, but I said, do you like them or dislike them? And again, I got that same response. Numbers need an outline, but besides that, yes. I understand, right? As I'm showing you this picture of both home and away, I understand the concern, but I really do believe that this is a sleek looking sweater and it doesn't necessarily need that. But again, I am showing you only the front of the sweaters. I'm actually going to pull up a picture of the back of the sweaters. Unfortunately, the Blues did not send out anything of the back of the sweaters, but I'm going to show you an up close of the Blue Note. So we do see that it's not outlined on the border, and I understand that. But I mean, I wish there was a picture closer up of the home sweater. They just don't have that yet. However, I still feel like this looks very clean. As we take a look, we do notice that the Blue Note has kind of changed its shape just a little bit, but not too much to where it's noticeable. Again, I love the colors. Here is the sweater again without being on our lovely model of Colton Parayko. But look how slick that is. Like, that is a hockey sweater. So I want to know what you think about this, because personally, this is something that I feel like this team really did need. And I can go on and on about the reasons as to why and how symbolic it is and what the Blue Note means to us, what the colors mean to us, what it means to be a fan of the Blues. But, you know, overall, I feel like this was a nice, solid 8 out of 10. The only thing that I would personally change would be with the home sweater to have a border. Other than that, everything else is fine. But I feel like with the home sweater, like, it's hard because you can't see up front. But if you look closely at your screen, or I can describe it to you, you might think that the yellow is the border, but it's not. So when I show you again the picture of the away sweaters Blue Note, just so you can have a visual representation of it, the blue is on the outside of the yellow. So on like the home sweater, it looks like the yellow is the border, but it's really still the blue. I had a hard time seeing that at first because, again, like, it's the same exact color. However, at the end of the day, I think the Blues did a great job, and I am very proud of this organization for doing good by us here in St. Louis. So I'm going to continue to talk about the fact that it is draft week, free agency soon. But overall, I am just so excited about the sweaters, and I cannot wait to buy them. The t-shirts and hats are on sale, expensive, but on sale, whatever. But the sweaters, not yet. I usually buy my stuff off of like the third party stuff, if I'm being honest. However, I am definitely going to purchase. I think it's going to be a Robert Thomas away sweater. I think that's a solid one. I was also kind of debating on a Holloway, but like Robert Thomas is my guy, and I like the number 18 because my favorite number is 19, so it kind of like works out. But I like Holloway, right? Again, small inconvenience, but let me know in the comments down below what you think about the new sweaters and if you're going to buy one. Because I know I definitely am. But you know what else? I'm going to buy wonderful pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days, whether I'm snacking at my desk, doing podcast prep, or I'm just hanging out bored, right? They're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, they also have an in-shell option, which are personally one of my favorites because I like to sometimes like fidget with my hand, right? So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. One of the big talking points this week is the draft, right? And I feel like for the Blues, I'm pulling up my notes, not that the draft isn't significant, but yesterday when when Doug Armstrong was speaking, at least to me, it just kind of seems like maybe the draft isn't the big talking point here, right? Because they do have the 19th overall pick. And you might be wondering, well, Haley, can they get anybody good in value? Well, I did an episode with Sportsology, aka Russ Cohen, about a week ago. And he gave me some names. But let's be so realistic here. I want Jackson Smith. He's a left-handed defenseman, Tri-City Americans, WHL, and he's, a two-way defender, which, of course, everyone's a two-way defender now. But he does have good gap control, which is why I like him a lot. He also puts a lot of minutes onto the ice. And I have to tell you, he can play in any type of situation, right? He can be in the top 4. He can really be a big value piece. But later on, I don't think he's going to be ready to play for a couple of years, right? But defense is the priority, right? We have guys like a Cameron Reed, right? Who's on the Rangers of the OHL, right? And right now, Reed is a safe and polished and all-star shutdown defenseman with a top 4 upside. Clean zone exits, strong skating, quick reads, composure under pressure. And he kind of plays the way that some of the guys in St. Louis play, as they kind of need those deft players behind like a Justin Folk or a Parayko or a Fowler, right? He has a good defensive IQ. I feel like that's always thrown around, but he does. And he also would be a valuable asset for the Blues' penalty kill. Again, when I am thinking about ways to improve this team, I'm thinking about the special teams, right? I'm thinking about players that can fit into those positions. And yes, it did not work out with Scott Perunovich. It might not work out with a Tucker, for all I know. So that's why it's really important to have some of these guys like just in your depth chart, just in case. However, at the end of the day, I think that you also have to be open. I don't want to say open to players that we may not be as familiar with, but you have to just kind of you have to really just be able to be open-minded, because when it comes to the later rounds, right, there's going to be guys like a Malcolm Spence, who's a left winger, Erie OHL, power winger, 6 feet tall, 190 pounds. That might be a good one. You have, who else do I have on? Oh, yeah, Bill Zonin. Listen, 6'2", 190 pounds, forward. He can skate both power play, penalty kill, but he would be like a fourth line type of guy, right? So he wouldn't be somebody that's I wouldn't say like not of an asset, but at least for me, he's more like a Matthew, not well. That's me being nice, because I know there are two different positions. But like if Matthew Kessel, just hear me out, were to play offense, that would be Bill. But again, like maybe I'm a little too judgy, whatever. Again, I know a lot about different prospects, right? And I feel like that's where my strong suit is actually knowing about different things. But again, I can only predict so much. I mean, there's Ryson Lenders, who's a goalie, who plays for the Brantford Bulldogs OHL. I mean, but the Blues have like strong guys in net. But again, I would have been maybe saying that if they weren't going to extend Hofer, but it seems like they're going to expend Hofer. But overall, if you had to tell me, hey, Hale, the Blues in the later round, they're going to pick one guy, I really do think it's to be Malcolm Spence, okay? The winger I told you about earlier. He is committed to Michigan for this upcoming season. But, I mean, right now, he does fit what this team needs. And he is kind of targeted around the 5th and 6th round at the moment. So that's why in my notes, I have his name down. I mean, last year, I got really lucky with Adam Juracek, because I said that that's who I thought the Blues were going to draft. And guess what? They did. So now I feel like there's a little bit of added pressure. I mean, Jackson Smith, I like him. Do I think he's going to go to the Blues? Probably not, but I can be hopeful. Again, you never know. But I also want to talk about the fact that free agency is soon. And it couldn't be sooner for Ryan Suter. Did you see what I did there? That was me making a pun, because I am actually upset about it. The Blues won't be re-signing Ryan Suter as he heads to free agency. He also has right now an impressive 535-game Ironman streak. Oh, man. I don't like this. Ryan Suter became one of my favorite players. Not maybe because of his skill set, but because of his attitude and how he really stepped up in a big way. So for me, yes, that is difficult for me to comprehend that we're not going to see Suter wearing the blue note next season. I really feel for him, because I know that he said that he would have loved to play again. Who knows? Maybe he will. Like, you never know, right? Maybe some miracle, some way, right? Maybe he'll retire. I don't know. But Suits stepped up big time for this team last season. And there's nothing negative about it. I mean, he's, 40. Again, not a negative to be 40, but that's very old for hockey. But I just feel for him, because that was somebody who I gravitated towards. And I know the players in the locker room did as well, from being in there a few times. So it was inevitable. However, at the end of the day, I'm very understanding as to why. It doesn't mean at the same time it can't suck. So those are my final thoughts. Again, heavy episode today on the Blues' new sweater. But listen, this doesn't happen often. It's funny. Like, I'm 26. So all I've known is what I've known. And now it's something new. And I'm very excited about it. Change can be good. So I will talk to you tomorrow. Oh, by the way, before I end this episode, remember when I said in a past episode that I could see Trevor Zegras being traded? Well, we didn't get him, okay, and he went to a different team. I was right about that. So there's that. All right, I will talk to you tomorrow. And like always, let's go Blues.